The long road to Susie's fur baby's getting a Christmas. In May, Susie was ready to give up.
We ended up getting dog food like for twice the price in Blenheim, and I was ready to share that with the dogs. And I was ready to give up.
Her sister Pauline was always watching.
So what happened was I had seen on the Shrewsbury page that they were going to be doing a pickup for food for the food bank, and that it was actually open to all of Chatham-Kent. And I asked who the person was that was leading it in this community, and it turned out to be Tom. I reached out to him privately and I just said, Tom.
And Pauline had called me.
Said, Tom, I know that they're doing this big food drive thing. Could you tell me how it's going to work? So he explained to me that they're going to be dropping the food off. Each community is going to have their own amount of food, and Shrewsbury will have its own food. People will be able to come and pick the food up from the community center. I guess it was the center that they hub. And I just said to him, I have a concern about that because I feel there's a lot of people that are going to be missed in this community. There's people that aren't going to want to come out and even ask for help.
She was an advocate for people in the village who had, mental health needs, poverty issues, addictions. And she really talked about the folks who won't reach out and the folks that she felt ostracized from the community.
And then I started listing off some people like my sister and some other people I knew in the community here that for whatever reason, they would not go to the community center.
Never even thought about getting food ever again. And my friend told me, oh, I go to this food bank, and he was telling me about there's a dinner at the church in Blenheim that you can get, No, I'm not going.
He said, let me think about it for a couple days, and he wanted to sit on it and digest it.
I was sitting around and thinking that was great because those are the people you want to reach the most, right? They're the people who are hurting the most.
And then a couple days later, he got back to me and he said, could you give me the addresses of the people that you personally know that would be missed?
So I agreed, and I told her that was going to be one of our main focuses, was to get the food to these people.
After the food bank draw thing was done, and they had so much food.
And we had the food drive was very successful, and we had all kinds of food, and we opened up the hall, and the people we wanted the most weren't coming.
He reached out to me and he said, we're going to actually just start dropping food off to people.
I come home and there's bags of food on the deck. Craft dinner, and it's that used to be a cheap meal that you could eat or afford, and now that's over $1 a box. I was like, craft dinner right on, and then I seen Honey Nut Cheerios and paper towel. We can't even afford paper towel. We're cutting our old clothes into rags. And I thought, where the heck did this come from?
And it was amazing at the support. Like, not one person turned it down. There were people just, saying to my sister, somebody dropped food off for me. And it was so nice because I didn't have enough food. I didn't even know where my next meal was going to come from.
Now it was time to encourage Susie and Carson to accept the food.
And then 2 days later, I was helping somebody else again or working out here, and I went in the house, and there was bags of food on the floor. I said, where the heck did this food come from? And my landlord here, Carson, said, a fellow named Tom stopped by and said, is this house for sale? And I think that was a ruse to give us some food, Susie, because then he says,
hey, you're not that guy that's got the house for sale on this street, are you?
Oh, yeah, he said I was looking for some little white house that was up for sale.
After a while, when we started having a conversation, there's kind of the us and the thems, he said. I'm one of the us's, me and my other buddies are people, friends that really aren't part of the community. And then the thems are the rest of them. So I said, Carson, again, you got to do me a favor, man. If you need food, if you're not eating, help me out.
And I think that was a ruse to give us some food, Susie, because then he says, by the way, do you need any food? And then he said he'd be back every week.
Now that some trust has built, Susie and Carson are on the delivery program.
And every time it came, it was in paper bags, and it said week 1 or week 2, and And then one
Just
day,
a side story there. I don't know if I mentioned it, but that Pauline, after delivering food the first time to Susie, had tears in her eyes and was so happy that it was the first time she said my sister had made pancakes in years.
Shock, and I knocked on the door and she's like, just a minute, just a minute. And sure enough, she was in there cooking pancakes, and that's the first thing she did when she came to the door. She said, I just ate pancakes, thank you so much. I haven't had pancakes in a long time. And it really hit me hard, because I never thought, like, you don't think about those things, right? So for her to say to me, I just ate pancakes, I don't know why it hit me so hard. I guess just because I didn't realize I'm her sister, and I didn't realize that she didn't have the ability to be able to do that.
Susie quickly grew from reluctant recipient to food distributor.
And I watched her one day. She got in her car and she drove 2 bags of that food to someone else. So she was sharing the gift herself without even telling anybody else that she was doing it.
friends of mine were saying how, oh, I get my kids this weekend and I don't have any cereal. And, oh, I've got it for you. And I piled a friend's car.
So, like, unselfishly of her, she could have had 4 bags of food. She was taking 2 bags of food to someone else that she knew wouldn't even ask us or wouldn't want me to go to their door.
Way to go, Susie. She was one of our best distributors, I guess you could say, because she could reach the people we couldn't.
So the outreach grew even bigger than that. That was incredible to me, to know that someone who needed it was giving it away to someone who they thought needed it more. It was just amazing what I saw happen in this community. Even people that don't have it can be empowered by this whole thing to do good. And that's what I mean by, I think it was really incredible, because I saw a difference in her.
And it changed my mind. And I came in that day and the floor was full of groceries, and I just said, okay, this is what my dad meant. Do a little good and it spreads and spreads and spreads. I was ready to give up. I'm going to do good still. It's changed my whole point of view. I'm not going to quit doing good. This is what he meant. This is paybacks for every single thing I've ever done in my life. Just this food on the floor in the kitchen. And that's what I felt.
And it was after the food was being donated to her house that she actually started coming around. She would ride her bike around. She would sit and visit with me for like half an hour to an hour. And my dad said that she was just changing. He could see the change in her and how happy she was. And it really has helped her. It really has. I think it's made her feel like somebody loves her. Because a lot of the times I think that with her mental health issues, she doesn't feel like people care about her, you know? Like, she gets shit on a lot. And it's just because she's different. And I think that just by Tom donating food to her and just knowing that the community cared about her, it's really helped her come out of her shell, and she just seems so much happier. She seems more like a whole person now.
To get food from the May 16th miracle, Susie and Carson needed to be found. As a result of Chatham-Kent coming together, this time Susie signed up for the gift on her own. Now Susie, Carson, and their fur babies, Doobie and Blaze, got a gift this Christmas.
Let's see. What do you think of the toys, guys? Huh? Doobie's interested in one toy there in front of him. The dogs love the toys they got from Shrewsbury.
I just love how it took our entire municipality to come together twice to get these toys in Doobie and Blaze's mouths.
Oh, where it asked, are there any kids? I went, no. What kind of toys do your kids like? And I went, 2 dogs. Toys? And they sent me a box of toys along with the other food.
Okay.
So that's my story.